Hello. Yes. Hello. It's good. Hello, my name is Jasmine Alvarez. You can't hear it? Oh. Everyone say cheese, please. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, can you do me a favor and unmute the Zoom call real quick? I just want to make a quick announcement for YouTube. Good. All right, hello YouTube. If you're watching right now, welcome to the SGA Debate. We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes, so just hang tight if you're watching. If you're one of the 13 people watching right now, stay with us.
Hello, just doing a quick check for attendance. If your name is Finian Folua Sanya, raise your hand, please. No. How about Semike Getachu? Nana Robert Uma?
Your bag was there.
Andy Liu.
Yeah.
Whatever, but I just take it ever so often, just to, like, even like before something, like every time I say or side or something like that, I take one for a while.
Yeah.
So people like,
Yeah. I'm about to take a video. Shane, Sydney, smile. I'm gonna take a video.
let's take a cute little video.
Good job.
Hey, tag me. Who got this question? Oh my god. Yo, take it slow. Let's put these What is this question, bro?
What?
This one.
You know what's like, let me pop up to shits. Okay. Alright, someone said, have you ever received a PDR? If so, what level?
When I ask you that, that's what someone asked last year.
Right.
PR is like it's kind of like a strike against SGA. We're not asking that question. I don't know. Because Najee,
We don't talk about it. So if they want to talk about it.
yeah, we shouldn't do that question. Someone asked that exact question.
Guys ready?
last year.
Shane,
It was like a conflict. of interest.
guys, good.
So just delete it.
Just don't put it on the document.
No, like I can.
Good.
Test. Wow.
All right. First off, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 SGA Election Debate. My name is Jasmine Alvarez, and I'm the head commissioner for the SGA Election Commission. Firstly, I would like to introduce the rest of the commission by their name, major, and year. We can start with Sydney.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sydney Braithwaite. I am a freshman forensic chemistry major with a concentration in drugs and trace evidence.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shane Rayner.
I'm a senior here at Towson University. I'm a political science major, and I have two minors, one in human rights and one in business law.
Hi, my name is Anna Melendez. I am a senior currently, but I'm taking another year. And then I am a healthcare management major with a business administration minor.
Awesome. Commissioner Muswe Pembamoto also could not be here today, but is worth mentioning for her contribution to the commission. I would also like to introduce our advisors, Chris Rindosh and Carly Steinberg. Please give them a round of applause. They have greatly facilitated the election process and made tonight possible. As the SGA Election Commission, it is our job to encourage students to run for candidacy, vote for SGA officials, and ensure that there is a fair election process. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates wishing to represent you and your peers through the next academic year. We will start with the Senate and Justice portion, then the executive portion will follow. The roles for each of the candidate groups will be read prior to the commencement of each portion. Now we will dive into the Senator and Justice portion. Each candidate will be invited to the stage and will have 1 minute to make a statement. At 30 seconds, our timekeeper, Sydney, please raise your hand, will hold up an orange card to let you know you have 30 seconds left. At 10 seconds, the timekeeper will hold up the red card. After your time is up, I will stop you if you have not completed your statement. When you hear your name called, please come up to the stage to deliver your statement. First up is Senator candidate Andy Liu. Go ahead, take a seat and make your statement at the mic. Yep.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Andy Liu, and I am running for senator. My goal as like senator is like to build bridges, because I believe this is very important for communication between the members of each Towson club and the SGA. And for every club that I represent, I want to be a reliable source of communication. So I want to make sure that your voices, your concern will be heard and be addressed accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. The other senator candidates are not here today, but I will mention their names. We have Senator candidate Semikate Getachew, Senator candidate Nana Robert Uman. For justice candidates, she's also not here today. We have Finyin Falua Sanya. Now we will move on to the executive candidates. We ask that the audience please follow the QR code available at the entrance desk, around the room, on the backs of chairs, or inner aisles to the Google form where you may submit questions for the candidates. The questions during the executive candidate portion will come from questions submitted by the audience. You can submit, and our commission as well. You can submit your questions starting now. If you would like your question to be dedicated to candidates of a specific position, please be sure to denote that in your post, such as this question is for treasurer candidates. The Election Commission will be screening questions and selecting questions for the moderators to ask. Questions directed toward an individual candidate or question that attack or disparage candidates will not be read. Both candidates must be able, all candidates must be able to respond to the questions asked. Due to time constraints, we cannot guarantee that all questions will be asked, even if they meet the guidelines. We ask that you please be respectful of all candidates and remain quiet while candidates are speaking so that everyone can hear the candidate response. There will be no disruptive behavior tolerated. If you are having trouble submitting a question, please get Anna's attention, you can wave, or Chris and Carly in the back. The expectations for the executive candidates are as follows. Executive candidates will be called up by position they are running for. Our order of speaking shall be Attorney General, Treasurer, Vice President, and finally President. All executive candidates will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. Candidates running for Attorney General, Treasurer, and Vice President will each be asked at least 2 questions and will have 1 minute to answer each question. Candidates running for President will be asked at least 4 questions and will have 1 minute to answer each question. Again, Sydney will hold up the orange card when you are at 30 seconds and the red card when you are at 10. I will stop you if you go over. Each executive candidate will also be given a 30-second wrap-up period after questions have been asked. All executive candidates will receive the same 30-second warning from the timekeeper and 10-second warning. Candidates, when you hear your position called, please come up to the stage. First up, Attorney General candidates. Now I will pass it over to Commissioner Shane Rayner for questioning.
What is the most important quality that an attorney general should possess, and how do you think you demonstrate that quality?
Start.
I think the most important quality that Attorney General should be able to demonstrate is being able to confront individuals. I know sometimes that it can be hard to be in the position of giving out PDRs, but it is essential in order to hold everyone in the administration accountable. I think the most important skill to have as an attorney general is problem solving skills. Just because you're going to have to be dealing with problems, which is essentially the role, and being able to, solve conflicts between individuals.
All right, and for the second question, what changes would you like to see next year, both internally with the SGA and externally with the student body?
One thing that I do want to see different with the next administration is just clearing up redundancies and inconsistencies within our governing documents. That was a big problem this year, so I've already taken it upon myself to begin that process, and if elected, I will continue that next fiscal year. I think something that this administration has done well is being able to reach students, but I still think that we can do a better job of reaching students and being more accessible to them. So just, showing our faces more and making ourselves available so that students can feel comfortable coming to us with concerns.
Okay, it seems we did forget to give time for opening statements. So you guys have your time now. We can start left to right this time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenna Jallo, and I am running for the position of Attorney General under the ticket The Marathon Continues for Towson University Student Government 103rd Administration. I'm excited to be here tonight to share my vision for how I will serve and represent our student body. It's important to remember the vital role that the Attorney General plays in upholding the integrity of our student government and advocating for all the rights of our students. As Attorney General, I will work tirelessly to ensure that our university is a safe, fair, and just place for all students. I will advocate for policies that promote equality, inclusivity, and respect, and will work to hold accountable those who violate these principles. I will also work closely with the Director of Health and Wellness to strengthen SG's relationship with public safety and the Title IX office. I also plan to implement an Ethics and Accountability Committee as an extra step to put emphasis on accountability. In particular, I believe that we need to prioritize the needs of marginalized and underrepresented students on campus. I will work to ensure that our university is a place where all students feel valued, heard, and supported, regardless of their race, gender, sexual orientation, or any other identity. But I also believe that we need to be proactive in our approach to justice and fairness. That's why I plan to work with student organizations and community leaders to develop initiatives that address the root causes of inequality on our campus and to empower students to make positive changes. Finally, I want to emphasize that I'm a strong advocate for transparency and accountability. As Attorney General, I will ensure that all decisions made by our student government are made with the best interests of students in mind and that we are always accountable to those we serve. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to discussing these further during the debate.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kayla Brown. I am a sociology and anthropology major with a concentration in criminal justice while minoring in health science. This is my third year at Towson University, and I am running for Attorney General under the ticket, The Voice of the Heroes. I'm the current Solicitor General for the 102nd Administration. This position falls under the judicial branch and is located in the Office of the Solicitor General, which is one of the two parts of the judicial branch. The other part is the Judicial Board, which I have also been a part of as an Associate Justice. Given the fact that I have experienced what it feels like to be in both of these core pieces of the branch, I know exactly what they will need from their liaison. Being able to bridge the gap between the executive board and the judicial branch is something that I know I can accomplish. Beyond just the judicial branch, I want to have an effective relationship with all members of the administration. I want the Attorney General to be seen as more than the accountability figure within the organization. Personally, I've never received a professional development review, which lets me know that it is possible to have an administration where PDRs are rarely, maybe even never, given out. I say this to say that I will do my best to make sure that I am proactive in holding members accountable, with the goal being that it does not have to get to the point where PDR is needed. Another task I want to accomplish is eliminating all redundancies and inconsistencies in our governing documents. To do this, I will start by working alongside the future pro temp every week in the Rules Committee, and even outside of Rules Committee if needed. This is a task I have already began to do within the 102nd Administration, so becoming Attorney General would just be a continuation of that. Even though my position is more of an internal position, I want to accomplish goals that do not only affect the administration, but the student body as a whole. One of the initiatives I plan to accomplish is creating more options for different dietary plans. As a health science minor and also being someone who has dietary restrictions due to different medical reasons, I believe we need more dietary options on campus. I find it difficult to find suitable eating.
It's time. Is that it for questioning? Okay. Round of applause for the Attorney General candidates. Up next, may all treasurer positions come up. You will now be given 2 minutes for opening statements.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Ononga. I'm a junior finance major, and I run for the position of treasurer in the Student Government Association. I'm excited to be here tonight to share with you how I plan to manage our student government finances. As some of you may know, I currently serve as the Director of Marketing in the SGA. During my time in this role, I've had the opportunity to work closely with many student organizations on campus. I've seen firsthand the hard work, dedication that they put into their events and initiatives, as well as the challenges that they currently face. As treasurer, I'll continue to prioritize my connection with the student orgs and their concerns. I will work collaboratively with these organizations to ensure that their financial needs are met while also being fiscally responsible and transparent. My experience as director of marketing has taught me the importance of listening to the concerns of our student orgs, and I'll carry this commitment forward into my role as treasurer. As treasurer, I will be committed to identifying areas where we can reduce costs and find more efficient ways to allocate resources. This will allow us to maximize the impact of our budget and provide more resources for students. I believe that we need to find innovative ways to make college more affordable and accessible for all students. By working collaboratively with student orgs and the administration, we can identify new solutions to address the financial challenges that many students face. I'm also committed to transparency and accountability as treasurer. Our budget and financial reports, I plan to make them readily available to all students so they can see that we're accountable with the way we spend our money. This will help build trust and a sense of community within our student body. Finally, I want to emphasize that I'm committed to being a collaborative and communicative treasurer. I work closely with our student org leaders and the student body as a whole to ensure that they're informed and know that financial decisions
Your
are
time
being
is up.
made. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Mayana Dotson. I am a junior family and human service major, psychology minor, and I am currently the Assistant Director of Health and Wellness for the 102nd Administration, events coordinator of Sisterhood and crop mentor, and I am the treasurer candidate on the Voice of the Heroes ticket. As your treasurer, determination, resilience, and stamina is what I will illuminate if elected. Vowing to ensure that all students are heard in their aspirations and goals for student organizations and our community as to you. You will not be forgotten or underrepresented in deciding for me to obtain this role. My passion for student development, experience in student leadership on campus, and curiosity for the progression of SGA will push our community and organizations to rise to any occasion and redevelop our expectations for student leadership. Overall, I want to be able to mend the communication gap between SGA and the student body and encourage the hero mentality here at TU. This being said, I feel that no student should be out of touch with their student representatives or feel that their voices are not heard. I, Mayana, make a vow to bring organization support and communication to the treasurer position and to our student leaders when elected with your help by improving and promoting all student involvement and knowledgeability. I will bring communication by implementing treasure check-ins within our student organizations to ensure awareness of all funding opportunities they may qualify for at all times, while bringing support by advocating and amplifying current resources such as the Treasurer's Hub and providing to SGA for all tier organizations in some capacity. I will also provide organization by implementing a treasurer portal that will connect our student leaders by creating a community that assists and holds each other accountable. Lastly, as treasurer, I will utilize my multifaceted experience by also holding SGA to financial wellness of our student government and make it a point to reduce any redundancies and calculate inflation to eliminate the risk of budget cuts for our student organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Shane for questioning.
All right. So what relevant experience do you have working with budgeting, and how would you apply it to create an SGA budget for the upcoming school year?
Just to make sure, Shane, you said what relevant
experience do you have working with budgeting, and how would you apply it to create a SGA budget for the upcoming school year?
Okay, so just some background. Growing up, my father, he was an accountant, and I worked along with him in his firm that he works for, MLT, and making sure the books were kept up to date and the numbers were matching up with what we were spending. So that comes with accountability. But also being an SGA, I also know, even though I was in marketing, I know how the funding works, and I understand that we have $2 million, and it may sound a lot, but considering the allocation that are promised and already made to orgs like the campus activities board and sports club organizations and other SGA contractual agreements and salaries, the actual number that we have to work with is much smaller. So our platform was made with this in mind, to offer tangible, realistic goals that we know we can achieve. So with this experience, I plan to put this forward.
Like my counterpart, I also had the opportunity to work with my mother, who had a company called Steam Train LLC, which I was her executive assistant, who kept track of updating financial records and allocating funding while holding the position. And overall, I also want to reiterate the fact that our student organizations not only need to know that we are knowledgeable in terms of our financial experience, but also knowing what it's like to be in a student organizations, and that's what I bring to this position, in being the events coordinator of Sisterhood.
All right, for the second question, the SGA has a large budget that funds many activities on campus. What is one initiative that either you personally or your ticket would like to fund?
So knowing how our budget works, I know that we fund as SGA 10 to 15K in student scholarships. And like I talked before, I wanted to make sure that our students know where our money is being spent and that they're at least getting the chance to have access to these funds. So implementing a first gen low income scholarship, so that scholarships that we offer are not only based on benefits, basically you achieving things, but also if you're in need. So it's not just anybody, but it can be anybody.
In trying to implement the hero mentality here at TU, our main purpose is to alleviate the stress placed on our students. I would do this by implementing an ECS fund within our administration if elected with your help. I know that planning events and just student involvement in total here in our campus is something that we really struggle with as student leaders. So we want to be able to alleviate and improve as well as just enhance the want for student involvement here on campus by implementing an ECS fund. And then furthermore, alleviating the stress by implementing a ticket fund here on campus. We know that ticketing is a really big issue here. Obviously, we cannot change the total price of our parking passes, but we want to be able to alleviate that by allowing for you all to apply through SGA to receive some relief towards your tickets. Thank you.
Thank you. You will now have 30 seconds for closing statements. We can start right to left.
I just want to be able to reiterate to you guys that I will also utilize my multifaceted experience to reinstate progression amongst our current students when it comes to student leadership, so that any of you will see it fit to represent your student body in some capacity one day. Remember that we are all TU, and everything that I said today is my vow to you. And I want you to understand that I am moving with genuineness as well as just passion for the overall student body. Thank you.
Well, as y'all can tell, I'm nervous, so I got here. But thank you all for your attention tonight. And as your treasurer, I'm committed to managing our student government finances in a responsible and transparent manner, as I said before. So I will work to prioritize the needs of our students and ensure that our budget is allocated in a way that maximizes our impact. So with your vote, I promise to be a collaborative and communicative treasurer who is accountable to the student body. Thank you again for your consideration. I hope we have your support. Vote, the marathon continues.
Thank you. May all vice president positions come up. You will each have 2 minutes to deliver an opening statement. We can start right to left.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Clifton Crosby Jr., a third-year IT major and a senator for the 102nd SGA administration. This year, I have written and passed the most legislation in this administration. I stood by our students as we push for hate bias reporting to be present on the syllabi. I protected student jobs and resources in my legislation to permanently fund the Public Communication Center. I contributed to our internal efficiency by implementing the Budget Allocation Committee, created so our centers can properly fund student orgs. I was also the first liaison between the Office of Technology Services and SGA, where I played a pivotal role in the role in university transition from Google Services to Office 365. I have sat on the Government Operations Committee, the Appropriations Committee, the Rules Committee, and the Senate Selection Committee. Outside of SGA, I spent over 2 years as the building manager for our university's entire sports complex. I'm not just a student mentor, but a teacher mentor at the Center of STEM Excellence in Baltimore, Maryland. I sit on the executive board for student orgs such as Brotherhood and the National Society of Black Engineers. It is safe to say my time at Towson has been well spent, but now is the time I rise to a new challenge, which is why I sit before you all today. It is my desire to see Towson University rise to be the top university in the region, My desire to make sure our students on and off campus have the best possible college experience and flourish in their career upon graduation, that I'm running to be your vice president. As your vice president, I will make my mission to advocate for all your student concerns, starting with mental health days across campus. Our students' mental health is something the university can no longer put on the back burner, and I'll make sure in the 103rd administration, your voices will be heard. My resume in and outside of SGA, the sharpening of my leadership and communication skills, and my love for university is why I can confidently say I'm the best vice presidential candidate on stage today, and I hope by the end of this evening, my fellow students will agree.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Attica Bajwa. I am the current freshman council president. I have a biology major with a concentration in cell and molecular biology. I also have minors in chemistry and psychology. Though with limited experience through my freshman year, I was an SGA all throughout my middle school and high school careers. I was secretary, I was vice president, and I was president. I want to advocate for social and political issues that you guys may have on campus, acting for you, advocating for you, committing to you, and being transparent with you. Committing to you that the promises we make on our campaign will happen. Being transparent with the facts and processes that we go through while we work through our campaign processes. Through my freshman council experience, I have overseen all freshman council projects, including all 15 members, giving me the leadership role and experience I need. Also in high school, I earned my associate's degree while completing high school. Through my experiences and my leadership experiences, I hope to act for you and be your future vice president for the 103rd administration. Thank you.
Good evening, all. My name is Sean Bell, a sophomore studying political science and running as the vice president candidate on the ticket The Marathon Continues. My focal point for this speech will be on the topic of servitude. To be elected into this position, one must have a sense of servitude to be able to lead and support our student senate, advocate for the student body, and improve our entire campus community. Throughout my life, I have been surrounded and influenced by individuals whose livelihood speaks service to others. I'll name you a few that are near and dear to my heart. I'm the son of a Smithsonian security officer. I'm the grandson of a facilities engineer for the Smithsonian and executive assistant at the American Institute of Physics. My late mother worked for Verizon, the Postal Service, and the U.S. Court of Appeals. And last but not least, I'm the nephew of a public school teacher, fueling my passion for education and advocacy. Now to me, I have been a lifeguard for 3 years, an international baccalaureate ambassador, a mentor and member of the SGA in high school. I also did public speaking engagements to motivate students to reach for what may not seem as possible, and many took my words to heart. Now in college, I was a senator on SGA during the fall semester and was also on the Tiger Advocacy Advisory Team. Just recently, I finished an internship in the Maryland State Legislature as a legislative intern. After college, I'll serve my country as an officer in the United States Army. Servitude runs through my veins. I love to help any and everyone, and that will never cease. I was awarded the Senator Chris Van Hollen Public Service Award for giving countless hours to serve my community. If elected into this position, I can tell you now that good work and progress will be made. We will advocate on issues that are most near and dear to all and also introduce new ideas to be considered on campus. I will work to establish a student legal aid office to assist students in navigating legal troubles that may arise, including housing, employment, and domestic violence issues. I will fight for you. We on this ticket will fight for you, and we will always be there for you. As the late John Lewis once said, good trouble is what I'm prepared to do for the students of Towson University. To finish this all off, it sounds cliche, but when it comes to servitude, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Thompson Jr., and I'm a BFA active major, exercise science major, and I'm running to be a vice president for the 103rd administration. The reason why I decided to run in this year's election is that I know I have a lot of things to get done and accomplish while serving for the Student Government Association. Starting off being a senator, having a passion to write legislative bills that can help determine how a college student's experience at Towson University is something I didn't take for granted. Then later, receiving the opportunity to be a part of the Push and Progress ticket while being in the Student Government Association for one semester is a challenge I didn't back down from. While only having limited experience, a lot of people doubted me, didn't believe I didn't fit the attorney general role. And I'm happy to say I proved them wrong and didn't let the opportunity get the best of me. With the same eagerness and passion, if elected as the vice president of the Takeoff to You ticket, some of my initiatives is to extend dining hall hours for Glen, West Village, and Newell, provide freshman parking. Freshman parking, being able to park has been a prevalent issue for years. Creating a space for freshmen to be able to have the choice to live on campus or commute would not only reform the Towson experience, but also produce even more freshmen to pick Towson as their first college decision. My goal is to change the culture and make Towson University a place students want to be at and persevere.
Now to Shane for questioning.
All right, your first question is, what experience do you have creating a meaningful change at Towson University and in your community?
So like I said, as a senator, I have been able to write legislation for our university defending student jobs and resources and defending the Public Communication Center, as well as being a building manager, just being able to help our students on a day-to-day basis. So I feel that I have the resources on my tool belt to be a vice president.
So as freshman council president, I oversaw a couple projects. One of our biggest projects right now has been freshman court, and it's going to be one of the first pageants produced for freshmen. And it will be crowned our first ever Mr. and Mrs. Freshman Council, class. So I feel like that was a really big change. Freshmen are very, I feel like, underlooked in general, not just in Towson, but in college experiences, and creating an event that surround just freshman experience and freshmen themselves, I felt was really meaningful for them.
Okay, so during the fall semester, I was a senator in SGA and gained valuable skills about university operations and also truly advocate on behalf of the student body. Also, with my most recent internship as a legislative intern with the majority whip, I am the only vice presidential candidate with legislative experience and can bring proper government operations to the SGA Senate, including with Robert's rules, how to do governing documents, and things pertaining to that. Thank you.
Like I said previously, starting off as a senator, being able to write legislative bills, being the vice president for the appropriations chair, and now being attorney general right now, currently for the 102nd administration, and being a part of the grant review committee, just having all the experience. I've been in SGA for about a year and a half. I feel like that can help me, translate smoothly into being in the vice president role.
Is it an initiative that you and your ticket would like to initiate here at Towson University?
So my biggest initiative that I want to implement as soon as I get elected is mental health days on campus. I feel that student mental health on campus is something that has been kind of overlooked throughout the years. And now that the year of 2023 is something that we have to take serious. Secondly, I do want to implement SGA parking fund to help our students with any parking expenses that they may have.
So working with my campaign ticket, one of the biggest issues we wanted to bring change to is the bus system and transportation in Towson. We want to work closely with the parking and transportation department and better our bus app, making sure it comes on time, what we can do to make sure like students know where the buses are going, what time they're arriving, and just improving the parking and transportation on campus in general.
So one thing I want to bring on campus as vice president is making sure to have a more greater food recovery network. Just recently, there were over 300 pounds of food that was recovered throughout the campus in one day, and that is utterly ridiculous to me and to my ticket. So making sure that we have proper food recovery networks to give to people that were unfortunate enough to not have the food, that would be a big issue to tackle as vice president and as our ticket, the marathon continues.
Yeah, me and the Takeoff to You ticket, some of our initiatives, of course, freshman parking, one cart expansion, being able to use your one card across the Baltimore area, not just on campus. Like I said before, extending dining hall hours for Newell, Glen, West Village, and much more.
Now you will have 30 seconds for closing statements. We can start right to left.
It is my desire to push Towson to be the best possible version of itself. And as vice president, I will be the bridging of the gap between our students and our university admin. Student concerns have been drowned out long enough. It is my promise as your vice president that will come to an end in the 103rd administration.
Our ticket wants to act for you. We want to advocate for campus sustainability, addressing inequality on campus, student health, SGA accessibility, and academic life in general. We want to bring these focuses onto you guys so we can help you guys become better students and make Towson a better place in general to learn.
I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the opportunity to address the audience. I hope that my remarks have provided valuable insights and food for thought. Let us remember that as we move forward, we must strive for it to be inclusive, empathetic, and collaborative in our efforts to create a better school environment. Now that elections are in 2 days, the choice is clear. A vote for the Marathon Continues is a vote for experience and integrity. Once again, thank you and have a great evening.
I'd like to thank you guys for being here, just hearing us out. For my closing remarks, like I said before, just provide transparency, being able for you guys to be able to access us as a student government association, not have any questions you guys are afraid that won't be answered. And of course, just make the best of this opportunity if elected as a vice president.
All right, thank you. Last but not least, may all president candidates come up. All candidates will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, starting right to left.
Good evening. My name is Chidi Wachanemere. I'm a junior IT major and serve as the president pro tempore of Towson Student Government Association. To be an excellent presidential candidate, your why should be the most essential question to your role. Your why is the reason why you get up and give it your all. Your why is what gets you through some of the toughest times as president. Your why should be a reminder of who you are. My why is change. I want to be a creator of substantial change in every facet of SGA. And this is why I'm running to be your SGA president. I've been in SGA since I was a freshman. I've amassed 3 years of crucial experience in SGA that has allowed me to see the true influence and importance that SGA holds. And as president, I've already used my initiatives and abilities to create an SGA that serves the student body faithfully and ensures the student body is heard to the highest extent. Thank you.
Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Damon Edwards II, a family-oriented, charismatic, and versatile individual with a passion for advocacy. Ever since I was a little kid, I've had a deep love for football. As a child, I played football for a Pee Wee team in my neighborhood. I was good and always a team captain. I even had aspirations of playing professional. Then high school happened. My mother stopped me from playing football because she felt I would get injured and endanger my family, both academically and physically. Sometimes I wonder what could have been if I continued, but I'm also comforted in knowing my truest passion is advocacy, which captivates me and my attention just as my initial interest in football did. However, the latter can be more beneficial and useful to society. Advocacy at its core is courage to stand up for your beliefs and combine with action to make a difference. It is through this passion that I am one of the longest tenured SGA members at Towson and have accomplished many feats for the students, such as the extension of West Village dining hall hours from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., the founding of Towson's first ever transfer council, and the addition of hate bias reporting into the course syllabi. Building upon results yielding leadership, institutional knowledge, and fostered relationship with university administrators, I'm here vying to be your next SGA president, not only based on my experience and accomplishments, but based on the unique perspectives and ideas I bring as your voice. As the only presidential candidate on the executive board for multiple student organizations on campus, I bring a special perspective to the needs and wants of students, as I too am in your shoes. Once elected, I plan to advocate for the connection of the youth store and Bursar's office, mental health days to be included into the course syllabi, and tangible efforts for your fee dollars to have a direct impact on you. True leadership is to not only take responsibility and credit for the wonderful accomplishments within the organization, but to also take responsibility for the challenge faced within it. As a leader, you take responsibility for it all. You don't shy away or place accountabilities on others, but accept the challenges and move forward.
Your time is up.
Be the hero.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jaden Johnstone, and I'm currently running to be your next presidential candidate. Currently, I'm the Director of Sustainability and Civic Engagement with the Towson SGA, and I'm proud to say that I've held this role over the past 2 years. Beforehand, I was a member of the Freshman Council, so technically I've been in SGA for all 3 years of my college experience. Beforehand, I had a lot of experience within leadership, being the vice president of our mock trial team, as well as the Leos Club and other clubs dedicated to service. I'm proud to say that we have brought this aspect of service to the Towson community through our holding of multiple service events with our current director of community service. Within this, we have ensured that all student clubs have the know-how of how to hold a successful service event, who they are serving, being intentional with it, ensuring that like everything goes smoothly. Within my role, I have advocated for the students constantly, and that is why we chose advocacy as one of our main tenets of our campaign. We ensured that there was a green fund for students who wanted to pull for research projects that are based on sustainability, which is a very wide topic, by the way. You can pretty much apply anything to sustainability. We've worked with the transportation department in the past to ensure that the app is better. I know it's bad now, but a year ago, it was somehow even worse. So we do have the know-how of how to make it better again, and how to make the transportation routes just in general better again. Ensuring that better routes are put in, ensuring that more stops are put in, and also advocating for the student workers and the other workers who put their time into running this university, because without our workers, we would not have a university, including the student workers. I see that I'm almost out of time. So in closing, we are running on advocacy, commitment, and transparency. And we are working to ensure that all 3 of those values are well put into SGA. And hopefully the legacy continues within these roles. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us to hear from your candidates for the 103rd Towson SGA administration. Like many of my colleagues on stage with me, I started in Towson SGA as a member of the Freshman Council, serving as co-communications chair. I then ran for SGA treasurer successfully, and then you all put your trust in me to serve as your next SGA president. And around this time, 1 year ago, I stood before you all and said, the needs of our university are changing, and that change would require a leader that would stand up every single time and leverage the resources to push progress. Well, the needs of our university did change, and I rose to that challenge every single time to elevate your voice. When the student relief funds were exhausted after COVID, I allocated $8,000 to support our fellow Tigers. When the administration decided to honor a professor that sponsored racist, homophobic, ableist, and transphobic behavior, I convened our shared governance leadership team to stand against this decision and encourage the administration to honor their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I haven't only risen to the challenge to react. I've taken proactive steps to ensure that our Towson is best positioned to take on the next 5, 10 years and beyond. I've been at the front line addressing issues of technology and food security on campus, allocating funds to create the laptop loaner program and eliminate technology barriers. I've also worked to combat food insecurity among our student body supporting the meal swipe donation program reinstatement, and building the foundation for the Basic Needs Hub through my role on the Hunger Free Campus Task Force. I promoted student wellness by working throughout my tenure as treasurer and president to extend West Village dining hall hours, reduce wasteful spending in the SGA, and partner with the Career Center to offer students free professional business attire. You can rest assured that I will continue to be your fighter, delivering results on your behalf. A vote for the Marathon Continues team is a vote of assurance, knowing that we will do the things we promise you.
Your time is up. Now to Shane for questioning.
As the leader of the SGA executive branch, you will have to be able to handle different points of views and conflict within the executive branch. What strategies do you have to handle conflict within SGA? I could reword that if y'all want.
We can start with Jordan.
Thank you for the question. I think it's one that definitely needs to be asked when you're working with a 50, 60 plus member organization. And I think the important thing is that I've done it. And I also have an attorney general candidate that will help me do it again. I'm a collaborative leader that's worked throughout my 3 years in Towson SGA to deliver results. I've worked with projects with every single candidate on this stage, with Chidi to allow pause to accept meal swipes before 4 p.m., with Jaden on a number of sustainability projects, with Damon on adding hate bias reporting. And so I think that open communication and collaboration is really key. And like I said, again, my amazing attorney general candidate, you can rest assured that her experience in diversity, inclusion, and equity will best serve the students of the Towson SGA.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. I think one of the most important things that we can do as an executive board is just talk. So I think there's kind of an issue within SGA where things just build and build and build until someone explodes. And I think we really need to stop that at the start of a conflict happening or an issue arising. We need to just talk to each other and really hear each other out, because that is the main thing that, needs to happen to stop conflicts before they can build and get worse. I can say that I have talked to Jordan through many issues that I've had throughout the year, whether they be with accessibility or, accessibility. So I can say that I know how to talk to people and I know how to solve conflicts. And I think that this is an important skill to have as a leader, especially one, that we have so many members for. But thank you.
Thank you, Shane, for the question. So from my perspective, I think the best way to handle conflict is just to understand, the root of whatever the issue is, to understand where it's coming from. And as a student leader, being a part of the executive board now, you kind of understand that everybody within your organization has the common goal of wanting to better the students. That's why we're all here. That's why we're all vying to be your next president, because it's about you all. It's about being your voice. So understanding that, the conflict is not rooted in, malice or anything like that. It's rooted in just the passion and drive and determination that we all have to represent you all, which we will do. Specifically, the Voice of the Heroes ticket, because you guys are the heroes. Specifically, our ticket to ensure that we implement a carpool system for you all, to implement those mental health days for you guys, and just to make sure that we're listening when there is a problem and understanding that it is about you all.
Thank you, team, for the question. When it comes to conflict resolution, I think there's one real clear answer to that question, which is communication. I think opening a dialogue for everyone to be able to speak to you about conflict genuinely and not coming from a place of fear would be a very, very good way to start to begin to address a problem. And as president, I would vow to be an open candidate to be able to address conflict and be able to hear the student body accordingly and make sure that they're heard to the highest extent. Thank you.
Leadership experience do you have, and how does that experience that you've had make you qualified to be president of the SGA?
We can start with Jaden.
All right, awesome question. Thank you. So my leadership extends through SGA entirely. I am also a member of multiple different clubs, but focusing on SGA, I've been the Director of Sustainability and Civic Engagement for the past 2 years. And through that time, I've had many, many different projects and events that I wanted to get done. So not only does my role entail event planning, and I'd like to say I've mastered it, although who knows. It also entails, looking at the budget. When we established the Green Fund, we had to look at the budget and see where funds could be placed. And that was something that I found very rewarding. I've read all the governing documents because of my role, and that I knew that I had to do that to ensure that my role was best placed. And I think through my time, I've kind of revitalized and changed the director of sustainability and civic engagement. And I'm really hoping that that change does last, past my time at Towson. Thank you.
Thanks again for the question. So the leadership experience that makes me, the best candidate for the presidential position is not only my experience right now as the vice president of the Student Government Association, but my experience as the president of Brotherhood, a member of the events team for Brotherhood, and the treasurer of the Pre-Law Society. So I believe Sean mentioned, not sure this, but we have that experience already built in. I'm experienced with being able to lead, especially through SGA. We were able to not only do serious initiatives like the hate bias reporting or make emergency contact shelters cheaper, but we were able to do more fun, accessible events for y'all, like the Chopped event, like our collaborations with one of our endorsed organizations, the African Diaspora Club. We did an event with Paul. So that versatility combined with the determined experience that I have lets me most prepared.
So some of the preparation that I have for this role as president through the past leadership experience is I humbly started off as a member of the freshman council to begin my SGA career. After that, I rose to the heights of the Senate, and now I'm seated as the chair of the Rules Committee and serve as the current president pro tempore of SGA. This prepared me greatly for the experience of being president, because being president pro tempore, I have to deal with the problems and the concerns of not only the student body, but the internal student senate of the Towson Student Government Association. So this is excellent preparation for my role, for the role as president, and I hope to implement that if voted.
All right. What is your headlining initiative? Oh, my fault, Jordan. My fault, Jordan. Go ahead, bro.
Am I repeating the question?
What previous leadership experience do you have, and how does that experience make you qualified to be president of SGA?
Sure. Of course, starting with the obvious one, I am the current SGA president, and through this role, I've been able to serve on 2 university committees. One is the Presidential Search Committee. So I've been on the Presidential Search Committee with a few other key university stakeholders, researching and vetting candidates to serve as our next TU president in the absence of President Chatzel, where I've elevated your voice in student concerns and student need. I'm also on the Dining Committee, where we just announced this weekend our new dining provider, Aramark. I was able to fight for dining affordability and innovation, diversity and equity and inclusion best practices within our dining vendor as well. All changes you'll see coming in the coming years. Aside from that, I'm also a member of the Resiliency Awareness Prevention, Inclusion and Diversity Program with Army ROTC. And I'm a mentor in the ADC Camo Moja program. I see my mentees there. Shout out Mary, I love her to death. And I've been a host of other student organizations on campus, so I have that experience delivering results for you in the committee rooms. I also have my ear to the ground in student organizations on campus as well. Thank you.
What is your headlining initiative for SGA, and how do you plan on implementing it?
We'll start with Damon.
You said the headline initiative.
What is your headlining initiative or initiatives for SGA, and how do you plan on implementing it?
Okay, so we have a number of headliner initiatives, starting with amplifying university resources. So all of the resources that we have internally with SGA, specifically funding, comes from your fee dollars. So one of the biggest things that we want to do is to make sure that you guys see that at work. So promotional periods with printing, making sure that you guys have access to premium LinkedIn, to make sure that we're continuing to fuel your future endeavors. We want to emphasize the internship requirements that we have now and expand that program to allow you guys to get more experience within your fields. And then, as mentioned before, we want to do a carpool system kind of to help, encourage the sustainability within our overall campus, while also maintaining the accessibility within our internal organization by planning more programming for you guys.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What is your headlining initiative or initiatives for SGA, and how do you plan on implementing it?
Thank you, Jane. So Takeoff T's main initiatives are, as President said, expanding the one card and allowing freshmen to park. So the main way we plan on implementing it is we know it's not going to take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or a month, but it's going to happen. So with expanding the one card, I plan on starting from the youth store, our very own campus university store where we can use our one card, and then branching out to places like Raising Cane's, Chipotle, whole store foods across campus to be able to ensure that the one card is being spread accordingly and giving the student body a variety of options besides Chick-fil-A and the fake Chipotle. I also plan on expanding the allowing freshmen to park by working with the Commissioner of Parking to be able to expand our options and allow freshmen to park through the credit system. Thank you.
Jordan.
Thank you for the question. So 4 headline initiatives, two of the biggest ones, and again, already laying the groundwork to kind of work on some of these things if reelected. One, the Basic Needs Hub. I'm the only student rep, undergraduate main campus student rep on the Campus Free Hunger Task Force, in which we've discussed the Basic Needs Hub. It was a part of our Push and Progress platform to have a student resource center, and it's coming in the fall. So that's definitely one of our headline initiatives to ensure that that's an all-encompassing center for any student need to be able to be met in that building, and it will happen in the fall semester. Also advocating for dining reforms. Again, as the only student rep on the dining request for proposals committee, I'm able to leverage that relationship that I've built with Aramark to hold them accountable and delivering on the results of what the students identified with me as our need, and then what I rose to the concerns of the committee, and honoring that commitment will be key in the next year.
Thank you for the question. It's kind of hard to choose what goals, because we have so many, are just like the most important, but I will just go off the top 3 that I have. So as Jordan said, the Basic Needs Hub is one that has to happen now. I am happy to say that I have a very close working relationship with Faith Boris, who is a current AmeriCorps Vista who runs the food share. And she has pulled from the Green Fund that I implemented to get funds to build up the Basic Needs Hub and to make the food share more accessible. I think that we've done a great job so far, but we need to further the funds that they're getting to ensure that like we can have the Basic Needs Hub as soon as possible. I would also like to reimagine how we prioritize safety on campus, moving away from a reactive form of, preventative measures to a more beforehand, before the matter of fact, before an accident can happen, stop the issue from its stem, whether that be through additional counseling measures or otherwise. That's just one more. I would like to go through another, but I'm out of time. So thank you.
Was that everybody? All right, great. All right, this is the last question, and this actually comes from the audience. So sustainability is a priority among Towson students. What sustainability initiatives have you supported in the past? And or what would your sustainability priorities be if you were elected president?
We'll start with Chidi.
So some of the sustainability initiatives that I would try to enact would be obviously reducing the amount of trying to overall be a more eco-friendly campus. Now I do that by working with the future director of sustainability to enact that. I understand that eco-friendly and being eco-positive is very, very important. So I'll try to enact that by, like I said, working with the director of sustainability to make sure any initiatives covered on that end will be addressed. Thank you.
So with regards to sustainability, as mentioned, we have an initiative that will essentially allow students to carpool one another. So I know a lot of students in here have classes where you have a note taker. So the note taker receives a stipend. So the carpool system will work a little bit like that, where you would receive a stipend to take fellow classmates to class with you, which will kind of help, reduce that emissions. Another way that we've already begun to do it within my role as vice president is the reinstating of the meal swipe donation on campus, reducing food insecurity, allowing students who can't necessarily afford, meal swipes and stuff like that to be able to have meals. To be able to have meals if they can't necessarily afford it, and then also finding more student-friendly ways to be, sustainable. So I know a lot of us don't really like the Twitter Freshka, what are the cartons that they have because they always melt through the bottom. So just finding a way that students will actually want to be sustainable and not just feel like it's a requirement.
Okay, so in the past, I've worked on the Green Fund with a bill that passed through the SGA. I've also worked to implement new pieces of legislation, including one being the declassification of worms and bees as pets. That was a rule that was put in during Kim Chatzel's time, and that has really hindered the composting facilities that we have on campus because those are necessary things to have compost. And that compost could be used for food access, better food access. We have an urban farm on campus. If you guys didn't know that, I would like to continue supporting. Additional things like transportation we've worked on. We worked on the whole making the student app better. We've worked with them in the past to try and get them to meet with the students directly and talk about their needs, because I think the transportation department just sometimes does not know what needs the students need to have met, whether it be more stops along the campus, more routes that are accessible, whatever it may be. And that would actually decrease the amount of parking spaces that are used if more students felt comfortable using the bus. Thank you.
You guys hear me? Okay, good. So through my tenure in SGA as treasurer and as president, I've always valued and honored sustainability commitments as an organization and as a university. I've actually worked with Jaden to change the green fee that would have gone to a student fee and increase our SGA fee by 30% to the green fund and added as a budgetary allocation within the SGA. So we were able to do that collaboratively last year. We've also advocated together for the past 2 years for a green wall to be added to Towson, an interactive wall through the TE Foundation Board. Unfortunately, hasn't gotten through. I do think with my relationship, my working relationship with President Primrose, we submitted again. I think it could get done in the 3rd year. Also, the Senate is where a lot of the sustainability action is driven. My vice president candidate as the chair of the Senate has already delivered on climate action within Prince George's County through legislation and has that experience to bring to our student Senate. Also on the presidential search committee, I'm looking at the track records of individuals. What have you done to honor sustainability on other campuses? What have your sustainability practices been like? And how will that transfer here at Towson? And then on the dining committee as well, making sure that our dining contractors honor that. Thank you.
Please stay, please stay. Please stay.
We got one more question from the audience. So what past experiences and qualities do you have that sets you apart from the other candidates?
We can start with Jordan.
Again, I think we already know I'm the current SGA president, so that definitely sets me apart. I've also worked in a nonprofit law firm, delivering on civil legal matters for Prince George's County residents facing domestic violence and eviction matters. I was able to work both in the courthouse as well as in the communication side. So working to deliver resources for Prince George's County residents, that certainly has shaped my focus on how can we better assist Towson University students in our idea to implement the legal aid office here at Towson that other universities have to ensure that any students facing legal matters can get those needs met by us as a university. I think it will definitely be key. I currently work as chief of staff in the Maryland General Assembly. So I have legislative experience in state networks. My current boss is on the appropriations committee for the Maryland State Legislature, House of Delegates. And that committee literally drives billions of dollars and makes the statewide budget every year. And we're fortunate to have worked with that office as well. Thank you.
So I think one thing that sets me apart from, I would say, most of the people in this room is where I'm from. So I'm from the Eastern Shore, about 10 to 15 minutes away from Ocean City. I am in this small town with probably 3,000 people who live within it. And I've worked closely with the city council in there to make it better, whether it be through preventative measures with alcohol, that's a big one there, stuff like that. But this has given me the experience I think is needed here because it shows me how a council or how just a governing body should be addressing its citizens or its constituents. It should be interactive, it should be close, it should be personal. And I think that with 22,000 students here, that might be a little hard, but I still think it's doable. And I think that, my prior experience in my small town has led me to sort of get the things that need to be had to make this more personal. Thank you.
So I think what sets me apart from my counterparts is just innovative ideas and versatility. So a lot of the things that we were able to accomplish within, the administration this year, and some of the things that we want to accomplish next year are all, from the groundwork of just brainstorming ideas collaboratively with members of the ticket previously and with members of the ticket future. So some of the innovative ideas that we have for this year is for a campus thrift store, to further those efforts. We know a lot of students like to thrift, so we want to be able to maintain that in a sustainable way. And then not only continue with, innovative ideas, but the versatility that I bring through not only being able to make tangible change through SGA, but being able to make tangible change in other organizations as well. So I think cohesively all together, that's what sets me apart.
Thank you, Chain, for the question. I would like I had mentioned beforehand, I've been at SJ for not one, not two, not three, but no, I've been at SJ for not one, not two, but 3 years, and I plan on entering my 4th year as president. So enough about my experience, but I do want to speak a little bit about who I am as a person. I'm a charismatic, goal-driven, oriented person that wants to incorporate much of my character into the role of president. I understand that the role of president is a job that's very serious, and I want to incorporate a lot of my charismatic and funny side into it and make sure it's a job that's also not so intimidating for the public. I want to make SJ more visible to the student body, and I plan on doing that by being a visible person. Thank you.
All right, we will now do 30 seconds for closing statements. We will start with Chidi.
As president, I plan on using my position to cultivate an environment of trust, transparency, and transformation by continuing to ensure that the student body is represented accurately and consistently. Having a president that the student body can fully believe in is essential to the success of SJ, but I cannot do it by myself. I call on this Towson student body to invest in the future of Towson University by voting takeoff to you to take Towson to another level. Again, my name is Chidi Wachinemere, and do not forget the slogan, "In Chidi we trust."
After speaking this past weekend at Admitted Students Day with Interim President Perot and the Assistant Vice President of Admissions Office, Amy Moffitt, it hardened my financial belief that it hardened my foundational belief about fluidity's importance at Towson University. Every year, we accept thousands of new freshmen bursting with new ideas, new perspectives, new cultures and personalities, and their leadership needs to reflect that. We're not stagnant with our growth as a university, with our ever-growing construction. We're not stagnant with our students.
Your time is up.
Be there.
I want to start off by saying thank you. It does kind of warm my heart a lot to see so many students who are civically engaged. I've really worked hard to ensure that civic engagement is one of the main things that are brought up in SGA and abroad. So this is really nice to see. I really hope that my words have just reached even like one person in this room to vote for us. Having just one vote, that's all I need. Even if we don't win, we will we will work to make sure that these things do happen. Our goals are not going to stop at the end of this election if we do not win. Thank you.
Y'all hear me? Okay. The journey to progress is a marathon, not a sprint. We will continue creating a better TU by transcending how we view student involvement, magnifying the needs of students by prioritizing wellness, and continuing to build a legacy of leadership that promotes student support. A vote for the Marathon Continues team is a vote for experience, dedication, and vision. Thank you. And our Marathon Continues team will stay after, kind of in the front, my left, your right, afterwards if you guys want to talk and ask any questions about our platform. Thank you and have a great evening.
All right, thank you to the presidential candidates. Can I please have the Attorney General candidates come up for their 30-second closing time? Thank you. Good. We will start right to left.
Once elected as your Attorney General for the 2023-2024 fiscal year, I vow to uphold all members to the standards set in our governing documents. I'm extremely passionate about enforcing rules and ensuring students feel included and represented within our campus community. I will effectively achieve all expectations set forth for me as the Attorney General to vividly advocate for students and their ideals while guaranteeing personal growth in our organization.
Thank you all for being here today. As your Attorney General, I want to ensure that your rights and interests are protected and represented fairly. I have the experience, skills, and passion to effectively advocate for your needs and work collaboratively with other student leaders to make positive changes on campus. I'm committed to transparency, accountability, and accessibility in my role, and I will strive to build trust and engagement with all members of our student body. Thank you for considering me as your Attorney General, and I hope to earn your vote. Vote the marathon continues.
All right, can we get a round of applause for all the candidates tonight? This concludes the 2023 SGA election debate. On behalf of the Election Commission, we would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Your participation in these events is appreciated both by the commission and the candidates. We would like to remind everyone that voting begins on April 19th at 9 a.m. until April 20th at 4 p.m. You can vote at any one of our polling locations around campus, or you can vote online at involved.towson.edu. Have a great night and see you guys at the polls.